Hello. So it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, everyone. Game week 18. Thought I'd try and make a quick video, recap where I'm at, what I'm doing, what the plans are and stuff. So game week 17 did pretty well. Green arrow only by a margin of 0, so it was a tiny little one. Yeah, Salah cap, massive. He barely made any difference to my rank, Salah captain. So that was a weird one. Like 21 points doubled, but didn't make much difference to my rank. It was these other periphery picks like Rogers, Gordon, and Sells with the low-owned players that made the difference. I think didn't have Isak as well. I had a feeling that would sting. Didn't know it would sting that much, but that did sting a bit. But survived it. Got the green arrow. Happy about that. Still looking like a good rank for now, so that's all good. But my cheap forward plan is still, 3-2s again, so I've got to sort something about that. But then this game week, I've had 4 free transfers, Saka out. So I have made some changes, and I've made changes already. I've brought Jota in, I brought Jesus in, and I've brought Isak in, which makes sense, given that I made a video last week about really wanting Isak and not being able to get to him. With Saka out, seems like a perfect opportunity to bring him in. I actually almost didn't, though. I just brought him in last night, and I almost got priced out of him. My first instinct when Saka was out was to go to Jota, and I wanted to bring Jesus in, because basically I was looking at the fixtures, and I kind of thought Aston Villa and Man United are kind of tricky, and I thought maybe a better jumping on point for Isak is maybe here. And I thought I could have a little punt on Jesus, maybe a punt on Duran, maybe a punt on Jackson. I just thought there were some other picks that I could play with, and I could think about getting Jackson in 20, was my thinking at first. And I still don't know if I've made the right decisions. This is just what I was thinking at first, because if you look at the last 6 form guide, XGA, Aston Villa's XGA is good, and it's been good all season. They've only had 2 clean sheets, so they've conceded a lot of goals, so maybe there's something wrong there, but they've got good XGA, and so have Man United. Well, Man United's all right, dropped off a little bit, but they've had 6 clean sheets, don't concede many goals, so I don't know. I just thought that the Newcastle games against Villa and Man United might be tricky-ish. I know Man United conceded 3 against Bournemouth, but I don't think they conceded that much XG. I thought it was 1.6, but I think it says here something like about 2, 1.9-ish, so maybe it was a fair bit, but anyway, I've ended up deciding to bring him in, though, because it was a choice of Pedro or Isak. Pedro versus Brentford at home, or Isak versus Aston Villa at home. And Brentford's an easier fixture, but I think I'd rather have Isak. And it was a EO pick, as in, because my ranks, I'm quite fortunate to have a good rank at the moment. I do think I need to kind of start thinking about EO a little bit. And given, I said this the other day, I've got this kind of natural nature of going for low EO punts sometimes. That's why I brought in Jota and Jesus kind of impulsively. And so I think I need to kind of counteract that sometimes by trying to get some high EO picks. So that's why I've kind of gone for Isak as well. It's just, basically, if he goes off again, it's going to hurt me more than if Pedro goes off. So I think I need to cover that base. Yeah, so I brought him in. I had exact funds for him as well. It says -3 up there. I had the exact funds for him. None in the bank now. So that's why I brought Isak in. Jota and Jesus. The reason I went for Jota, it was just immediately I went for him. So I don't know for sure. It feels a bit risky. It is perhaps a short-term punt. I'm looking at some of these other players like Mbomo and Bruno Fernandes. I'm just looking at Bruno Fernandes and thinking he's got Newcastle, Liverpool in this next 2 after Wolves. I'd rather jump on Bruno around about 21 Southampton if I want him. The same with Mbomo. He's got Arsenal coming up. And then maybe Southampton would be a better jumping on point, or maybe even after that. And so I thought it might be worth having short-term punts on somebody like a Jota. And if it turns out to be wrong, then I can jump to Bruno or an Mbomo or somebody safer. So it felt a bit like a good opportunity, just looking at the fixtures, to have a short-term punt with the Jota. And same with Jesus. I just thought I'd jump on him and see what happens. If he turns out to be the new number 9 for Arsenal, he's going to start playing there consistently, then brilliant. I'm not expecting him to, but he might. And if he does, great. If not, I could have a punt on like Duran if he's there available, and then I could jump on some of these other players later on. So it to me it felt like a natural punty place to have a little punt on a couple of players and just see what happens, with the option to hold on to them if I want for longer, and if not, I'll move them on. I was listening to Praz saying about the importance of trying to build up transfers for later on in the season. That was what I've been thinking, what I thought last game week. And I do still kind of agree with that. So I don't know whether I've made the right decision there by doing these punts. It's weird the way when you've got one or two transfers, you feel like you need to build up more and you're reluctant to use them. But then as soon as you get to 4 or 5, you just feel like you've got so many transfers. It just felt so natural to just start using them. And it's a weird balance that of like now I'm back to only one left over now, and I'm clenching up again, feeling like, oh right, okay, no, don't make any more crazy changes now. Let's just keep it steady. But I did also look at the numbers a little bit, and I started thinking there is still quite a way until 24, and then 29 is when you might need a lot to clear off some of your Liverpool and Arsenal players if they're blanking in the EFL Cup. There is quite a long way till we get there. And then I might not need the assistant manager until here. And it's like, I think I'm all right. I think I can still take a few punts. So, and I just had the vibes, man. Jota and Jesus, I just was feeling it. So Jota, I mean, I had my eye on him for a while. And basically, I think he's going to start Leicester. I think most people think he probably will. And what I was looking at is like, I looked at, this is my logic, so it might be wrong. But I just looked at his pattern of, when he comes back from injury last season, he would have like 3 game weeks where he'd play like a 7-minute, then 2 30-minutes, and then he'd be back and he'd just start every game. That was the EFL Cup, so that maybe doesn't count. But then he just started every game. Then he did it again here. He had like a 15-minute, 2 half an hours, then he's back. Then he gets injured again, so he is a bit injury prone. But he's just done it here. He's had a 12-minute, then 2 half an hours, and then he's back. And so it's like, is he just going to start every game from now on? Now that's... will he just start every game from now on? And I'm not sure. Some people think he probably won't play the West Ham game. So we're here. There's Liverpool. There's Leicester. And then West Ham's like 3 days later away. West Ham, bit of travel. There's a good chance he doesn't play that one, but I'm not so sure. I still feel like he might, because of the fact I'm kind of basing it on like last season. Once he was back, he just started every game again. It was like he just needed to get the minutes in his leg, and then he's playing. And then also, I've made this little thing. I've made a new spreadsheet, minutes tracker, which is just logging all the minutes of all the players from all the teams. So you can see, and basically, so this is Liverpool. There's Jota, Gakpo, Darwin Núñez, Diaz, and you can see their minutes each game week. And Jota was just starting every game. First 4 game weeks he started. He missed game week 5 for some reason. He was on the bench, just didn't play. And then he started the next 2, then he got injured. He started that one and got injured. And Darwin was the one that was coming in for him. He was the one that was not starting every game, coming in as a sub. And then he covered him there. So basically, Jota and Darwin were rotating, and Gakpo and Diaz were rotating. They were rotating with each other. Now, there's been a bit more recently. Gakpo and Diaz have been playing up front a bit more, or doing something else, playing together. That may be because Jota's out or Darwin's not good enough. Things like this. But I'm just kind of anticipating that Jota's going to, once he's fit, he'll go back in the number 9, and Gakpo and Diaz will rotate on the left. Is what I'm guessing, and what I'm anticipating. But then there's a lot of people who know more about this, and apparently Diaz has been playing better. Gakpo's been playing well. Maybe they'll eat into his minutes. Who knows? Probably. So it is a bit of a risk. It is a bit of a risk. But I'm kind of fancy that Jota, again, it's Jota and Jesus, if they play, especially Jota, if he's the number 9 for Liverpool and he's just got that position down, it's good, and I want him. And then on top of that, because Jota's numbers are quite good, I don't think he even needs to play every game, because let me do that, because there are some players who are high enough. Their numbers are high enough that they don't have to play every game and they can still come off quite well. Let me go up to 24. I've got their double book for 24. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Liverpool's double might actually be more likely 25 now. But basically, so where's Jota? Here's Jota. Even if he doesn't play every game, he's really high up. And even if he doesn't play every game, he still comes off, let's say, I don't know, 3 of every 4 games or something he plays. 33 points. He'll still come in about as good as like Anthony Gordon or something like that, or an Eze. He's still kind of that kind of range. So my feeling is that if you buy Jota and he only plays 3 of every 4 games, the worst case scenario is you getting a Gordon or an Eze kind of quality player instead. But the best case scenario is you're getting somebody almost going to be keeping up on the coattails of Cole Palmer if he plays every game kind of thing. That's my logic at the moment. So he doesn't have to play every game and he can get stuff off the bench. So that's what I'm thinking with Jota. And it might backfire and I'll just transfer him out if it does. And then Jesus, my thinking with him is, I don't know, again, I'm not an expert, but my hunch is that he's going to play right wing. He's not going to play number 9. I'd love it if there's a chance, 20-30% chance he might. And if he does, I'd love it. But I'm guessing he's going to play right wing because I know in the last game against Palace, when Saka went off, Jesus didn't switch to the right. He stayed up front and Martinelli played on the right. But my presumption with that is that that's because Rice was injured or had some sort of knock. I'm guessing. Could be wrong, but I'm guessing that Rice, the physios had told Arteta that he can only play 30 minutes this game or something. So when Saka went off, he couldn't bring Rice on, is my guess. I'm just guessing that. Because he couldn't bring Rice on because that would be too many minutes for Rice. And so he brought on Trossard and moved Martinelli to the right. And Jesus stayed up front. And then when he brought Rice on later on, it was a direct switch for Havertz. But once Rice is back, if Rice starts next game where he's at, where does Havertz go? I think Havertz has been the number 9 first choice for a while for Arsenal. I think he'll probably go back up front, and I think Jesus will go on the right, and Martinelli and Trossard will rotate on the left, probably. And because we've got, who do we have on the right there? No Saka, Sterling's out. We don't have a Nelson anymore that can come in. Jesus is the one who probably has the most experience playing on the right there. So I suspect that's what's going to happen. But it might not. Other people might know more about that. And so anyway, I've brought Jesus in because he's still part of the Arsenal attack against Ipswich. Could be nice. He might just be a short-term punt. Could be the new number 9 for Arsenal going forward, which would be great. If we get the old Jesus back, it'd be amazing. But if not, I'll move him on. So yeah, that is the team. That's what I'm looking at. So I love my team for game week 18 now. It feels like almost like a free hit team. Feels quite nice. Wood against Tottenham's pretty good. Triple Liverpool against Leicester. Triple Arsenal against Ipswich. Feels good. Benching Rodgers this game week. Hopefully that won't backfire. Lewis first bench. Yeah, I don't know. Looking good. So that's the plan. Rolling the other transfer. And then one other thing I wanted to talk about then. I haven't really been thinking massively further forward with the team. I probably should do more of that. I've kind of stopped doing it a bit. You've got Liverpool's double coming up, 24. I'll talk about that now. It might be 25. There's quite a way to go yet. Yeah, I won't talk about that because I haven't been thinking about that too much. The double in 24 might be 25. So Tala Nadeem is a fixture rescheduler guru guy. He knows a lot about it, and he reckons the game week 24 double may not be possible on 24 now. It looks more likely to be 25, or at least 50-50. It might be game week 25 now, which is obviously very good because Liverpool have Wolves in 25, so it would be a double of Wolves at home and Everton away, rather than Bournemouth away and Everton away, which is a bit harder. So I hope it's the case. The reasoning for it is because if you have a look at the fixtures here, the Carabao Cup fixtures have been announced, and they've put Spurs and Liverpool on the Thursday there. That's where Spurs and Liverpool are going to be playing on this Thursday, the 6th of February. If you go forward on the Saturday here, you've got Everton are playing Crystal Palace on the Saturday. So that means there's an FA Cup fourth round. If Everton and Liverpool get through to that, they have to play on the Sunday, and then their Everton-Liverpool double game week would have to go on Wednesday the 12th. So there's no, that's the only way they could squeeze it in. But there's some problems with that. One of them is that, this is, Tyler Nadeem pointed this out, that if Liverpool and Everton get drawn at home, which is perfectly possible, if their two FA Cup games get drawn at home, they can't both play on the same day. Liverpool and Everton can't have a home game on the same day for like logistical, police reasons, security reasons. I didn't even realise that. But apparently that's been a thing for a while. And yeah, I didn't know about that. So that's something. So that's a possible thing that could scupper it. Also, BBC and ITV have rights to these games, and they may have a certain amount of sway. I don't know how much over the fixtures. So they may want Liverpool to play on the Monday night, or they may want the Everton game on the Saturday night. So they may not be able to get that Sunday, have them both play on the Sunday. So there's that. And then the other thing is you've got TNT, I think, have the rights to the Liverpool-Everton game. And they will also have a say in whether it gets played in this game week or this game week, on the 12th or the 19th. So it's possible that even if the 12th is available, TNT might prefer to have it played here. Now, I think that one, my presumption is that they would prefer to have it played on this one here, the 12th, because it clashes with the playoffs of the Champions League and Europa, and they'd probably rather it clash in the first leg than the second, because the second leg is higher stakes, maybe more eyes watching it. They don't want that clash. They'd rather have it clash in the first leg, but maybe not. I don't know. But they could have some sway in that as well. There could be that Thursday could become available as well, depending on Europa League and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a few complications, I think, that could make that game week 24 double game week less likely now, and it could just be that it's just easier to just whack it in this one in 25. But it looks like it's at least 50-50, so maybe slightly leaning towards 25. So that's good. Yeah, so that is good about that. Is there anything else I want to say? So that is, I think, all I wanted to say. So, yep, Salah cap, done my transfers already. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. So I'll leave it there. Hope you all have good Christmases, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.